Recently collected this 2004 Saab 9.3 Aero Convertible 2-litre turbo, 133,000 miles on the clock, silver, nice aero alloys on it, body kit, bit of a ropey front bumper down there. I've had a chance to clean it up a little bit, so it was pretty moldy when I got it. Needs some work done here to these wing mirror things. That one's not too bad, the other side's worse. As you can see, totally faded, and somebody's had a go at that already. There were some other issues with it when I got it. Bonnet catch mechanism wasn't working, so on these cars it goes all the way around, or sorry, from this side all the way around. Oh, sorry, this side. Let me just check. So you can see it's kind of like got a cream leather interior. It's not that nice actually, it's pretty dirty. This was really filthy, but this has been washed. The seats have been given a once over, and you can see there's some pretty dodgy sort of stuff in there, you know, kind of worn out buttons inside. It really stank too when I first got it. Carpets were filthy, but it has had a sort of quick internal clean. The roof is really bad. There's a lot of mold, a lot of evidence of it being power hosed essentially. That's what these streaks are, and so you have some mold here. So this has been washed, and then you have these big brown spots, you know, so there's a bit of work to be done there, but in terms of its condition, it's fairly good. You know, it's not peeling away around here the way these things tend to. I had an Audi A4 convertible, and this was all hammered. All this had to be resealed, so this is all in really good condition. You know, down the seams are all good. The only issue is here. There's kind of a little spiky bit here. It's sort of trying to poke through the material. I can't get it down. But I'll have to figure that out. But in terms of everything else, it's not bad, you know. It's fairly well equipped. It's got a 6 CD changer. The cup holder doesn't work. Just, you know, it's a bit floppy. So I've got to get one of those on eBay. There's a button missing here, but everything else seems to work. I did put an aircon bomb in here to make it smell a little better. It's got electric memory seats, and they're all working okay. Back seats are not too bad, as you can see. Let's pop the bonnet here now. Yeah. Bonnet struts or the gas struts are in good shape. This has had a bit of a wash, so yeah, as is always the case, this was totally full of leaves and crud. So I have cleaned sort of some of this stuff. There is an issue though that I've spotted. There does seem to be a lot of oil down in there, as you can see. It doesn't seem to be dripping, so I think it was there. It's been there for some time, but it's dry everywhere else. Needs a new battery, which I have in order. This one's too small. My understanding is the car was garaged for a few years. It's been off the road for 4 or 5 years. In the last 5 years since previous MOT, which I think was in 2021, it's only done about 1,000 miles. I had to buy a new bottle top here, and it's leaking anyway. So there are 2 water pumps, one for screen wash and one for headlight wash. So your headlight wash is there and your screen wash. Screen wash is working, headlight wash is not working. So I did have it all out, and it's the little fittings are not just sitting happily, so that's the main reason why you have the leak. So I'm probably going to have to check the fuses. They're all okay, so I think it is actually the pump itself, so I'll have to get a replacement for that. I did have a look at some of the service items. So your air filter is in really good condition. The pollen filter is like brand new in it. The oil filter is really good. The oil itself is really good. The tires, although they're old, they're all like 2017 tires. They're actually perfect. the brake discs and pads are really corroded looking, but actually in terms of material, there's so much meat on the pads. You know, there's a good 15 millimeters of material on there. It's the same all around. The only issue here is the handbrake shoe is sort of seized on that one. So although the wheel moves under the engine driving it, whenever the car's up in the air, that doesn't budge. What else was needed? So yeah, in terms of things I did, the car did need a new shark fin, courtesy of eBay. I got that. This was absolutely filthy. So there is a leak here, and there was all mold all over everything here. So I got all that cleaned up, but also underneath here, this was full of water. So last week I got all that cleaned out, but I think once we start using that again, it's going to be the same. So I did have all this off because I replaced this lens here. This one was full of condensation. The others are okay. This is fine. This one's a bit scratched, so there's a bit of a scratch down there, as you can see. Bodywork's not great. There's a few marks here and there. You have some sort of crusty rust type there. Water seems to come down in through here and sit. The roof's fairly leak tight, I think. Yeah, so I was talking about that. So we did have an issue with the bonnet release. Essentially the cable comes from here. It runs along there, as you can see, into that little piece of plastic. Comes to here and goes onto there and then goes across to here. And so you can see your bonnet release is these two things. And then that's your little catch. So this was broken here. So essentially you had this knob here. So when you pulled the release, they pulled this one, nothing happened here. So they had taken a piece of thing and that was sticking out here and you had to pull it. You had to pull it out and that would release it. So you ended up needing two people really to open the bonnet. So I got a new one of these mechanisms off eBay and replaced this section of it. I also polished these headlights. So I have pictures of those from before, so they came up well, both of those. So that looks a lot better. Did have pretty rusty number plate screws on it, so I replaced those. So the front of the car looks a lot better than it did. But sure, we'll start her up. See what that's like. She starts okay. It drives okay too, you know. It's an old car, so usual Saab. It's automatic. So we have this alarm, theft protection failure contact service. So my understanding of that issue is that's related to the alarm module, which is down here in this side of the wheel arch, driver's side wheel arch, I believe, has batteries in it that are not supposed to run out. But when they do run out, that's when you get this. So there's a whole bunch of videos on YouTube telling people how to replace that, how to repair that issue. So I'll have to have a look at doing that. But everything else seems to work. You know, your heaters system works okay. Battery's a bit dodgy on this, so but everything else is okay. You know, you have your, you know, your miles per gallon and your lights and stuff. The only issue really is the only issue that I've found is my main beams don't stay on. So turn that over there, so that's your lights on. So I can't get, they flash on and off, but they won't actually stay on full time. So they just kind of flicker and then they're off. So that's an MOT field automatically, so that's irritating. But my indicators are all working. Everything else seems to be working okay. Fog lights are all working. So we may end up having to replace this thing in here in order to fix that issue with this stock here, because it's definitely not working, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with that. Like you see, it flashes on, but it won't stay on. You know, I would have thought it would have to push out in order to stay on, but it doesn't. So my windscreen washers are sort of working. The two outer ones are working, but the middle one's not working. and my headlight washers are not working. But my stereo works, my CD player works. We have a sort of second cup holder here. A lot of people never realise this, but essentially you pull this up and you have this little flap here. You pop that down and that makes for a second cup holder. So I cleaned all this recently, and you have a nice little area here you can lift up that's got stuff in it. There's a little vent back here that is currently gone, so I've ordered that from eBay. Let's pop the roof down here. So, well, here, we'll try this night panel thing. So this is the famous Saab night panel button, as you can see here. Press this and all the gauges go out, bar your speedometer. And you can vary the speed it goes up to. So the minute it's at 90, I think you can in the settings change that. So that all the lights go out, you know. You can turn that all back on again and it all lights up. So this is our roof down button here. Push this up, our windows go down all around, and you can see out the back there. She's making a bit of noise. Up it goes. So that's it. Turn her off there. Key out. So yeah, roof down. It looks pretty presentable, you know, when the roof is down. I mean, it's not bad for no money. Everything looks much better with the roof down. And you can see this aerial's not in terrible condition. Nice little boot spoiler. Nice fat exhaust on the back. Yeah, she looks good. So I'll be making some more videos about some of the things that I'm going to be doing, particularly cleaning the roof. So I've bought a whole bunch of product here you can have a look at. So I got some Fabsil, so that's going to be used to sort of waterproof the roof. In order to get the mold off the roof, I've got this stuff, Citrus Blast. You kind of dilute this with water and it sort of kills the mold. Good little brush there to kind of get deep into it. I have some sort of cleaner here, sort of standard stuff for cleaning whatever. I got some of that Renovo for recoloring and reconditioning the roof, so that's going to be used on the roof to take it back to black. Of course, I got my trusty Plus Gas fast release. I got some brushes for doing valet work. I got some of the Smart Fabric as well, which is meant to be used to kind of it stops the water actually settling on the roof. Got some interior shampoo, Autoglim leather cleaner, a couple of different types of leather cleaner here. That's another one, and then that's sort of leather food, a little bit of paint. And I had this kit from before when I had my Audi. I'd used that soft top conditioner and cleaner, turtle wax. Pretty much finished this, so I've used the rest of the soft top cleaner. And then that's a little bit of the conditioner. So we'll see how we get on with that. That's the kit that I used to recondition the headlights. So just an eBay special, but it did okay. You know, I had done that before a couple of times and it seems to work well enough. So that's all for now. We'll get back and let you know the next video. Thanks.